A shadow falls across a moonlit street in occupied Paris, 1943. A woman in a simple coat hurries past German checkpoints, her heels clicking against cobblestones. In her handbag lies intelligence that could save thousands of Allied lives, or cost her own. She is one of history's invisible warriors, operating in a world where a single mistake means torture and death. This is the untold story of the women who shaped the fate of nations from the shadows. Throughout history, while armies clashed on battlefields and diplomats negotiated in marble halls, another war was being fought in the darkness, a war of secrets, deception, and extraordinary courage. The most successful combatants in this shadow conflict were often those society least suspected. Here are 10 women whose covert operations changed the trajectory of human history. 10. Nancy Wake, the White Mouse, 1912 to 2011. The Gestapo called her the White Mouse because she was so elusive. Nancy Wake, a New Zealand-born journalist living in France, became one of World War II's most wanted Allied agents after witnessing Nazi brutality firsthand in Vienna in 1933. When Germany invaded France, Wake initially helped Allied airmen escape through Spain. After her cover was blown and her husband was tortured and killed by the Gestapo, she fled to Britain and joined the Special Operations Executive SOE. Parachuted back into occupied France in 1944, she led a 7,000-strong Maquis resistance group, coordinated supply drops, and fought German forces directly. Wake's military prowess was legendary. She once killed a German sentry with her bare hands and led raids that destroyed bridges and communication lines crucial to D-Day success. Her network saved countless Allied lives and significantly disrupted German operations in southern France. After the war, she was awarded medals by Britain, France, Australia, and the United States. She changed history by proving that resistance networks could effectively challenge occupying forces and demonstrated that women could lead military operations with devastating effectiveness. 9. Belle Boyd, La Belle Rebelle, 1844 to 1900. At just 17, Belle Boyd shot and killed a Union soldier who had insulted her mother in their Virginia home. This act of defiance launched one of the Civil War's most audacious espionage careers. Operating from her father's hotel in Front Royal, Virginia, Boyd used her charm and social connections to gather intelligence from Union officers who stayed there. She would hide in closets, eavesdrop through keyholes, and seduce soldiers into revealing military plans. Her most significant coup came in May 1862, when she learned of Union General Nathaniel Banks' plan to trap Confederate General Stonewall Jackson. Boyd personally rode through enemy lines to warn Jackson, enabling him to execute the brilliant Shenandoah Valley campaign that tied up 60,000 Union troops needed elsewhere. Her intelligence allowed Confederate forces to win several crucial battles, despite being vastly outnumbered. Arrested 6 times by Union forces, Boyd was imprisoned, released, arrested again, and even fell in love with and married a Union naval officer assigned to guard her. Her espionage activities provided the Confederacy with strategic advantages that prolonged the war and influenced its outcome, demonstrating how a single agent could impact military strategy at the highest levels. 7. Josephine Baker, the Bronze Venus, 1906 to 1975. The world knew Josephine Baker as an exotic dancer who took Paris by storm in the 1920s, performing in banana skirts and captivating audiences across Europe. But behind the glamorous facade was one of France's most effective intelligence agents. When World War II erupted, Baker was recruited by French military intelligence. Her celebrity status provided perfect cover. She could travel freely across Europe and Africa, perform for high-ranking officials, and attend embassy parties where secrets flowed as freely as champagne. At these gatherings, she would memorize conversations and observe military installations, later writing intelligence reports in invisible ink on her sheet music. Baker's most significant contribution came through her extensive travels in North Africa, where she gathered crucial intelligence about German U-boat positions and troop movements. She also used her chateau in the French countryside as a safe house for resistance fighters and refugees, hiding Jewish children and helping Allied airmen escape. Her intelligence helped Allied forces plan successful operations in North Africa and provided early warning of German strategies. After the war, Charles de Gaulle personally decorated her for her service. Baker proved that the entertainment world could serve as effective cover for espionage operations and demonstrated how cultural figures could contribute to military intelligence. 8. Ruth Werner, Sonia, 1907 to 2000. Born Ursula Kaczynski in Berlin, Ruth Werner became one of the Soviet Union's most successful intelligence officers, operating across 3 continents for over 2 decades. Her code name, Sonia, will become synonymous with sophisticated espionage operations that helped shift the global balance of power. Werner began her career in China in the 1930s, building spy networks and conducting sabotage operations against Japanese forces. She later operated in Switzerland, where she ran multiple agents and established radio communications with Moscow. Her greatest achievement came in Britain during World War II, where she served as a handler for Klaus Fuchs, the German physicist working on the Manhattan Project. Through Werner's network, the Soviet Union obtained detailed plans for the atomic bomb, including critical technical specifications that accelerated their nuclear program by several years. This intelligence coup fundamentally altered the post-war world order, ending American nuclear monopoly and ushering in the Cold War era of mutual assured destruction. Werner's operations changed history by giving the Soviet Union nuclear capabilities much earlier than would have been possible through their own research alone. Her work directly influenced the balance of power that defined international relations for the next half-century. 6. Ethel Rosenberg, the Atomic Spy, 1915 to 1953. Ethel Rosenberg's story remains one of the most controversial in espionage history. Along with her husband Julius, she was executed in 1953 for conspiracy to commit espionage, specifically for passing atomic secrets to the Soviet Union. While the extent of her direct involvement remains debated, there is no question that the spy ring she was connected to fundamentally altered world history. The Rosenbergs were part of a network that included David Greenglass, Ethel's brother who worked as a machinist on the Manhattan Project at Los Alamos. Through this connection, highly classified information about atomic bomb design reached Soviet intelligence, including detailed sketches of the plutonium implosion device used in the Nagasaki bomb. The intelligence provided by this network accelerated Soviet nuclear development by an estimated 2 to 3 years, ending American nuclear monopoly much sooner than anticipated. This dramatically changed post-war geopolitics, creating the bipolar world of the Cold War, where 2 nuclear superpowers faced off across multiple continents. Ethel Rosenberg's case, regardless of her actual guilt or innocence, represents a profound impact that atomic espionage had on shaping the modern world. The intelligence passed through her network helped create the nuclear standoff that defined international relations for decades and continues to influence global politics today. 5. Mata Hari, the Scapegoat Spy, 1876 to 1917. Margaretha Geertruida Zell transformed herself from a struggling Dutch woman into Mata Hari, the exotic dancer who epitomized early 20th century glamour and mystery. Her story became the template for the seductive female spy, though the reality was far more complex and tragic. Born into middle-class respectability, Zell's life took dramatic turns through an abusive marriage, life in the Dutch East Indies, and eventual reinvention as an Oriental dancer in Paris. As Mata Hari, she became the lover of military officers, politicians, and wealthy men across Europe, moving freely between enemy capitals during World War I. When the war turned badly for France and public morale plummeted, authorities needed a scapegoat. Mata Hari's foreign origins, multiple lovers, and extravagant lifestyle made her a perfect target. French intelligence accused her of being a German spy, though evidence suggests she was likely a double agent at best, or possibly innocent of serious espionage altogether. Her execution by firing squad in 1917 changed history, not through her actual spying activities, but by creating the archetype of the female spy that influenced intelligence services and popular culture for the next century. Her case demonstrated how intelligence agencies could use public prejudices against foreign women to deflect attention from their own failures, while simultaneously establishing the template for how female agents would be perceived and portrayed. 4. Virginia Hall, the Limping Lady, 1906 to 1982. Virginia Hall lost her left leg in a hunting accident before World War II, replacing it with a wooden prosthetic she nicknamed Cuthbert. This apparent disability became her greatest asset as an intelligence operative, as enemies consistently underestimated the American woman with a limp. Rejected by the U.S. State Department for diplomatic service due to her disability, Hall found purpose with Britain's Spies, operating from Vichy, France. She built extensive resistance networks, coordinated weapons drops, and facilitated the escape of hundreds of Allied personnel. Her apartment became a safe house. Her contacts infiltrated the highest levels of French society, and her intelligence reports provided crucial strategic information to London. When the Gestapo began closing in, dubbing her the Limping Lady and recognizing her as one of their most wanted enemies, Hall escaped across the Pyrenees on foot, a grueling journey that would have challenged even able-bodied operatives. She later returned to France with the American OSS, coordinating resistance activities that proved crucial to D-Day success. Hall's networks killed over 150 German soldiers, destroyed critical infrastructure, and provided intelligence that shaped Allied strategy. After the war, she became one of the CIA's first female operatives. Her career demonstrated that perceived weaknesses could become operational strengths and proved that effective intelligence work required creativity and courage rather than just physical capability. 3. Noor Inayat Khan, Madeline, 1914 to 1944. The daughter of an Indian Sufi mystic and an American mother, Noor Inayat Khan seemed an unlikely candidate for dangerous espionage work. A gentle soul who wrote children's stories and played the harp, she nonetheless volunteered for Britain's most perilous intelligence operations. Trained as a radio operator for the SOE, Khan parachuted into occupied France in June 1943 with the codename Madeline. Her mission was to maintain radio communications between London and resistance networks around Paris, one of the most dangerous jobs in wartime intelligence, as German direction-finding equipment could locate transmitters within hours. When her network was betrayed and other agents captured, Khan found herself the last free radio operator in Paris. Despite orders to return to London, she remained at her post for months, continuing to transmit vital intelligence while constantly moving to avoid capture. Her messages coordinated supply drops, provided strategic intelligence, and maintained contact with resistance cells across northern France. Eventually betrayed by a French collaborator, Khan was captured, interrogated, and ultimately executed at Dachau concentration camp in 1944. Her sacrifice changed history by keeping Allied communications open during a critical period when intelligence networks throughout France were collapsing. Her courage under impossible circumstances demonstrated the vital role that communications played in coordinating resistance activities, and provided a model of duty and sacrifice that inspired future generations of intelligence officers. 2. Cleopatra VII, the original Mata Hari, 69 to 30 BCE. Long before the term spy existed, Cleopatra VII of Egypt was practicing statecraft through intelligence, seduction, and political manipulation on a scale that would determine the fate of the ancient world. Her legendary beauty was just one tool in an arsenal of political weapons that she wielded with devastating effectiveness. Cleopatra's intelligence network spanned the Mediterranean, providing her with advanced knowledge of Roman political movements, military plans, and economic conditions. She used this information to position Egypt strategically during the civil wars that tore the Roman Republic apart, first allying with Julius Caesar and later with Mark Antony. Her relationship with Caesar was as much about intelligence gathering as romance. Through pillow talk and careful observation, she learned Roman military tactics, political strategies, and state secrets that she used to strengthen Egypt's position. When Caesar was assassinated, she quickly identified Mark Antony as the rising power and seduced him, gaining access to his military plans and political intelligence. Cleopatra's espionage activities changed history by prolonging Egypt's independence for nearly 2 decades beyond what should have been possible against Roman expansion. Her intelligence networks provided early warning of Octavian's plans, and her political manipulation nearly created an Eastern empire that could have rivaled Rome. Though she ultimately failed, her methods established a template for using personal relationships to gather strategic intelligence, influencing how female operatives would work for the next 2 millennia. 1. Yoshiko Kawashima, the Mata Hari of the East, 1907 to 1948. Born Aizen Joro Shinyu, a Manchu princess of the Qing dynasty, Yoshiko Kawashima, became one of history's most consequential female spies, orchestrating events that led directly to World War II in the Pacific. Adopted by a Japanese intelligence officer after her father's assassination, Kawashima was trained from childhood in espionage techniques and Japanese nationalism. Operating primarily in China during the 1920s and 1930s, she used her royal bloodline to access the highest levels of Chinese politics while secretly working for Japanese intelligence. Kawashima's greatest achievement, and history's loss, was her role in engineering the Manchurian Incident of 1931. She helped orchestrate the bombing of the South Manchuria Railway, which Japan blamed on Chinese forces. This false flag operation provided the pretext for Japanese invasion and occupation of Manchuria, establishing the puppet state of Manchukuo. Her intelligence work didn't stop there. Kawashima coordinated with the last Qing Emperor Puyi, whom the Japanese installed as Manchukuo's ruler, and provided crucial intelligence that enabled Japan's expansion into China. Her networks identified Chinese military positions, political vulnerabilities, and strategic resources. The Manchurian Incident that Kawashima helped orchestrate led directly to the Second Sino-Japanese War, which merged with World War II. Her operations changed the course of world history by providing Japan with the foothold and resources necessary for its Pacific expansion, ultimately leading to Pearl Harbor and America's entry into the global conflict. Executed by Chinese nationalist forces in 1948, Kawashima had lived to see her intelligence work contribute to a war that reshaped the entire world order and cost tens of millions of lives. These 10 women operated in different eras, served different causes, and used vastly different methods, but they shared common traits that made them extraordinarily effective intelligence operatives. We have come to the end of the video. Please don't forget to like this video, share, comment, and subscribe for more videos.